Hi there YouTube, this is the Magnus bringing you another Total War Warhammer online ladder battle. This time I chose to play as the Empire and my opponent brought Chaos. So getting an idea of what it feels like to be on the other side of this battle. I have 2 spearmen, each on the flanks. I have 3 great swords, 1 flagellant. I have 3 of the handgunners, an extra spearman double ranked up in reserve, a great cannon. I have 2 of the Empire captains, 1 amber wizard, and lastly but not least the general of the Empire. This is what my opponent brought. He has Chaos warriors with great weapons on each side with a Chaos marauder with great weapon in the middle. Behind that he has 2 aspiring champions and then 3 of the Forsaken. And he also brought a giant flying squad here. He's got 2 Chaos Feral Manticores, 1 Exalted Hero on a Manticore, a Sorcerer of Fire on a Manticore, and Chaos Lord on a Dragon. So I've been seeing this a good bit when playing against Chaos, that people bring these huge flying builds. Matter of fact, I've seen people bring just like 2 Cav and the rest all Manticores and Flying Squad. So it's definitely getting a little cheesy. The thing that I found that works for me is bring the Empire with these 4, and then you can summon the 5th, the Manticore. So now you have 5 flyers, and then don't engage somewhere else. Engage close to your handgunners. Force them to do that, and usually things will work out pretty well for you. So let's see how this all works out for me. So I see the huge flying squad. I immediately pull back my flyers. Now I'm just going to let my cannons start shooting at them. Initially it's going to shoot at the Chaos Marauders, but I'll quickly move it over to Warriors because they're more worthwhile damaging, and they have these aspiring champions behind them that I can hit with the cannonballs. So I'm just going to kind of stay on this little elevated piece of ground and let my artillery. The great cannon isn't really good against infantry, but if he brought giants or something like that, this thing would be worth its weight in gold. But it does have good range, and it is going to do some damage, and it definitely kills models. So I'm fine with it. It's not a huge advantage, but it's enough to make people push towards you, which is always a good thing. So I'm just going to kind of mirror his flying squad's movement for a little bit, let him know I know what he's doing. He's not getting away with anything, and let the cannon fire and just see how he's going to react here. Now his infantry line is a little disheveled here, but it looks like he's trying to move them in 3 parts. So while I'm watching that happen, I'm thinking he's going to try one of these deals and then up the center, because the Forsaken are quite quick. For infantry, they're extremely quick at 48 speed, and they can very easily outrun a spearman, for example. And he's just about to get in the range of my handgunners, and this is where I expect things to become interesting. So I'm expecting him to wait for that, and I decide I've got a downhill charge here. I like his infantry position. I knew my guns were going to start firing, so I'm going to charge against him, and then he brings in the flying squad. So I'm immediately going to reassign my gunners to shoot at them, and the first one I go after is actually the Chaos Sorcerer of Fire, because I don't want his buffs to be present in the battle. He dives in for my handgunners, which allows me to send these spearmen in the support, which is specifically what they were here for. So I feel good about that. Chaos Sorcerer of Fire doesn't last hardly but an instant, and then I'm going to send all of my flying after his Chaos Lord, try to get him to use his potion, which he has to use almost immediately, or actually I think he used it a little too early. So then I'm going to beat on a Manticore for a while, and then as soon as toughness wears off, I'm going to go right back to attacking his leader. I pull out my handgunners here. These ones retreat. I want them to be able to fire back in, but for whatever reason they decide to charge instead. I will get that sorted out, but my flying contingent's doing very well against his. As far as the infantry battle, here I think it's a little bit my favor perhaps. Over here it's definitely in his, but not enough that it's going to affect what's happening here, which is my guys are winning the day in the air battle. You can see the balance bar is going to go in my favor because his guys are dying. There goes this Chaos Giant, poor bloody stain there, and I'm just going to try to wrap up his flying. In the meantime, I start moving my handgunners so they can assist in the infantry fight. and I send these spearmen out, towards these infantry that had broken through, because the flying squad has now won and is free to do as it pleases. I was going to bring them in here, but I figured let's pull them away from the remnants of his flying. Let the cannon fire at this manticore. It might hit, it might not, but it's definitely going to cause some fear issues. And the flying squad comes down here, and I'm also going to put down the flock of doom, which is going to wither away at these guys even more. So they're just killing units quick as possible, and that's going to be enough to rout them. A very short battle, for sure. But I wanted to show this because when you go up against chaos, you are going to find people are going to go flying heavy. And the key is going to be have a good bit of flying yourself. If you're such a faction, make sure you have a few handgunners or thunderers or something to support that flying. Well, I guess you can't use thunderers to support flying, but you get the idea. You want some missile troops, and also you can count on the fact that for chaos, his infantry will be a lot weaker than they normally are, because usually the thing you have to deal with chaos is very strong infantry, but when they spend that much money on a flying squad, they're simply just not going to have it. And another thing is, if they bring a ton of flyers and just a couple of land troops, don't go chasing after the land troops. You're never going to get to them faster, especially if they're cavalry, than his flyers are going to get to your flyers. Fight the best you can with your flyers, with your missiles, whatever you have. Lose that engagement, and then force him to face your unified army rather than pick you off as your guys are running across the field trying to chase after his flyers. So I hope this helps you guys out, or at least it was just fun to see how quick it can all go down, and that if you stick to your guns and stick to your plan and seemingly give up initiative to the other side, you can still actually be in the driver's seat as long as you're anticipating what he's going to do. And when he plays into your hand, it makes you feel clever for a moment in life. And there's so many times in life where it makes you feel dumb. So, so it's nice to feel clever once in a while. Anyways, this is the Magnus. Until the next time, and I will see you on the ladder.